Hi, my name is Jono, and if you're new here, I do pencil drawings. This video is sponsored by Squarespace, but I'll tell you more about them later. Yeah, it's really cold in the studio today. It's winter here in Cape Town, and I think because summers are so warm in South Africa, we kind of forget to insulate our buildings. But I'm not alone in the studio. I have a small team of people, and I thought I'd go into the people that I'm working with and why I'm working with them. It raises a larger question, which is, do you need to have a small team of people to be an artist in today's world? And I think it's an interesting question. It depends on what your goals are. I haven't always had a team. I started off working in my room mostly alone for the most part of my drawing career. And it was really great. It was really wonderful to have this solitary practice. But I very quickly realized that there was a ceiling there. I was spending the majority of my time drawing, but more and more as interest in my work started to grow, I started to spend more and more time sending emails and just trying to stay on top of things and trying to be an adult. And it's really time consuming. It really sucked a lot of my energy trying to just do the admin of maintaining the practice. There was a strange irony in that the more success I had with drawing, the more I had to try and seize these opportunities and start to run it like a small company. And it's not to say that I'm complaining about that success in the least. I'm incredibly grateful for it, but I don't necessarily have a strong aptitude towards all the administrative skills that you need to run a company. So I found myself needing to take on a lot more tasks that suck a lot of my energy rapidly in a way that drawing doesn't. And then I found that I didn't have as much energy left to draw as much. So it was kind of like this choice that I had to keep my practice quite small and just do small drawings and not really pursue really fun and incredible opportunities that were coming up, or try and do the best of both and develop the practice, try and take part in all the opportunities that were coming up and still stay on top of everything. And that for me was really difficult. And that's when the penny dropped and I needed help with all the admin and running the small business essentially. So fast forward a couple of years, I've had a few people working with me and helping me, but at the moment I'm working with Margot and she is incredible. She has a lot of the skills that I really struggle with. And I think that that's kind of the secret in all of this, is to work with people who try and take a load off in the areas that you aren't proficient in. For me, a big part of my practice has always been the people that I work with. I've struggled with ADHD for most of my life, and over the years I've learned something really important. I need to focus on the things that I'm good at and find help for everything else. And that list, the everything else, is really long. But to kick things off, I'd love to introduce you to Margot. Margot helps manage the studio as a whole. She handles communication with collectors and galleries, works on partnership strategies with the brands that I collaborate with, and coordinates the shipping of artworks all over the world. She's also deeply involved in my side projects, and there are a lot of them. Like the artist residency, we're in the process of launching potential live classes in the studio, which I'm extremely excited about, and helping me test new setups and designs for custom tools to improve my drawing practice. I think part of the problem, but also something I really love, is that I get really into a lot of things. I'm super passionate about creating across a broad spectrum, but that mixed with a constant anxiety around stagnation and boredom means that I often have too many projects on the go at once, and it can be really overwhelming. Asking for help from people who offset my weaknesses has really helped me grow my practice from just some guy drawing alone in a room to some guy who has access to this multidisciplinary studio and community, which I can't express enough gratitude for. And that brings me to my second love, which is making videos and telling stories. And that's where my video editor, Simon, comes in. Don't let the sleepy eyes fool you. Simon is a demon in DaVinci Resolve. And yes, he sometimes takes naps while editing. I see you, Simon, but I don't think I'm supposed to know about those. I've always loved tech and geeking out on camera gear and editing, but time is the enemy. Between drawing and running the studio, it's a constant struggle to find the hours to shoot and edit my videos, not just on my own channel, but for the creative space around me. The team and myself have found ourselves working on projects and telling stories for museums and galleries and universities, telling stories about all sorts of creative work happening in the city. And a lot of it is self-funded or just for the love of making. And while that's been the source of quite a bit of stress, it's also one of the main avenues for expression and sharing what we're building here. The next two people to introduce you to are Kenz and Earl, who are both incredible artists in their own right. Kenz already has an established art practice and shows with a gallery back in my hometown actually, the same gallery I used to exhibit with many years ago. And Earl is finishing her final year of university studying fine art. Both of them came through our apprenticeship program and very quickly became a permanent part of the studio. I think it's really important to surround yourself with people that you can bounce ideas off of. Working in a vacuum could lead to some kind of raw authenticity, but I'm not sure I like that approach anymore. I'd much rather work in a creative community, one where you still have a clear vision, but where that vision is supported and strengthened by collaboration. Kenz and Earl have helped with almost every part of my process, from photo shoots and planning to prepping the paper, and even helping me lay down some of the foundation layers of my drawings. They've become a huge support system in how I create my work and have really helped open my eyes to the power of collaboration. And then next we have Dan, who doesn't work full-time, but just about, and works in the workshop. A big part of my practice has been to build and design things to support the drawing process, like this little pencil extender. Most of the time it's really simple things, but in moments of procrastination I started solving problems around the act of drawing itself, dreaming up ideal desks, perfectly lit spaces, or beautiful adjustable wall easels, which have definitely changed the way that I work as well. Drawing vertically has created a whole new set of challenges, and Dan and I have been working to build custom tools to make working like this just a little bit more comfortable and easier. Beyond that, we're also working on exciting sculptures and installations, and having someone who can help turn these ideas into physical things is just an absolute dream come true. And last but not least, possibly the most important person for me in the studio is Maya, the studio dog companion and unofficial wellness coach. She comes into studio with me every single day, and while she spends most of her time napping on the beanbags, she also keeps me company during the late night work sessions. And when I've been sitting still for too long, she has a very specific way of nudging me to go outside, usually because she wants to play, but in the process she reminds me to take a break, touch some grass, and just breathe. I know that when I was starting out, I'd look at successful artists and most of the time they'd have a team of people helping them create, and I always thought that that was really incredible and that was just so far out of my reach. And it's really interesting to see how things have slowly grown and developed into what I thought was the ideal dream. But I don't think it's crucial or a hallmark of a professional artist to have a team behind them. While it's a huge luxury and incredible, it's a choice. It has its downfalls as well. I've really struggled with burnout, being pulled in loads of different directions and not being able to always focus on the small things that I really care about and that I need to focus on. When you're working with a team, the ideal that's sold to you is that you can spend less time on the admin tasks that you're now outsourcing, and that you can spend more time just focusing on the tasks that you enjoy, like drawing. And that's not been the case in my experience. What ends up happening is you have to manage those people, and while that is a really enjoyable task as well, you have to make a lot more decisions because you get asked a lot more questions, essentially, and people aren't mind readers, so you have to then work on how do you articulate things that historically you've never had to articulate before. So how do you want things to be done, especially as an artist where what you're doing is so tied to who you are and it's representing you. So there's a lot more risk to just hand over the reins of control to other people. There's a tendency, at least in the beginning, to micromanage and to really be hands-on, which is so fatiguing. And that's been a huge learning curve for me, and I've really struggled with it, and I've weighed up the pros and cons many times. I think what I know is that I want to get to this point where I have a team of people who understand me deeply and can really help me portray my work and the practice and the things that I'm building in a way that that align with me. And so in order to get that goal, I have to just keep working on the skill of working with others. And I think the prize at the end of that road is something that I'm really excited about, where the kinds of things that we can make as a team and as a studio are far greater than what I would be able to do individually. So that's what's keeping me going. Before ending this video, I just want to give a quick shout out to this video sponsor, Squarespace. I've been working with them for a couple of years now, and they've played a huge role in my career, not only in helping me maintain this channel by sponsoring these videos, but more importantly, early on in my career, I was looking for a way to showcase my work and make it easy for collectors to find me and get in touch with me. And I didn't have time to learn HTML and try and build a beautiful, reliable website. But I found that Squarespace did all of that effortlessly. I never had to patch or upgrade anything. I could register a domain with them and set up an online store. And most importantly, I could design a portfolio and show my work the way that I wanted to. Also, every time I got stuck, their amazing support team helped me out instantly. So if you're looking at building a website, give Squarespace a try. And if you decide that you love them, use the soft code and get 10% off your first purchase. This video was really fun for me to dive into, just introducing everyone to the team that I'm working with. I'm really proud of everyone that I work with, and I'm so grateful to be in this position. But let me know if you have questions around what it's like to work with other people. Yeah, I'm really happy to answer all those questions in the comments or in the next video. So if you enjoyed it, leave a like. It helps the channel out in a huge way. As always, thanks for the support, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.